Exodus 20, verse 8, God continues to speak over his bride Israel to remind them the importance of rest when he says, remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. Now, when we think of that word Sabbath, many people have many different definitions about it, but the most simplest one that most people know Sabbath as is a day off. It's a day of rest. It's supposed to be a day of pause where all things cease, where all things are taking a break in order for you to recalibrate, in order for you to be able to refresh, and in order for you to be able to restart well. And in any relationship, this is so also very, very important. And I love that God says, remember the day of Sabbath or the Sabbath day. And I think there is an emphasis when he says remember. And it's, if he has to remind us, that means it's one thing that we often forget. And it's so true for humanity that our tendency is to go and go and go and go, and we don't know when to stop. And oftentimes in relationship, it can be just like that too, where it's just go, 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 go. And we completely miss out on what's truly important. We say that we are working hard for those that we love, but we completely miss the time with those that we love. And I think it's so funny that so many people work hard and give themselves fully to work so that they can supply the family that they love. But at the same time, when you give them no time, you're losing the very family that you love. And I think it's very, very important that God has given us the grace to be able to work. God has given us the grace to be able to live, to be able to do things on the daily, and all these things come from him. But then oftentimes when we are on that go mode, we would often forget about him. We appreciate the gifts that was given, but we forget about the giver himself. And this idea of remembering the Sabbath day is entering into a space of rest. It's remembering who you were created for, and you can only find fulfillment and peace of mind and joy within you only when you are in his presence. You were created for the presence of God. As a matter of fact, that's what Adam and Eve were created for. They were created for the presence of God. That is your natural habitat. The presence of God. Apart from it, you are like fish out of water. And you may be able to survive for a while flipping around, but you could only last so long. And for some people, it's a matter of seconds. For some people, it's a matter of minutes. For some people, it's a matter of days and weeks and months. For some people, they've been flopping around an entire life not knowing that you're so dead inside unless you enter into your natural habitat. And the presence of God is your natural habitat. Keeping it holy, setting it apart, understanding that you have been set apart for rest. And rest has been set apart for you. Why? Because we were created to be intimate with God. As a matter of fact, that word Eden is taken from this Hebrew word that literally means the spot. It is a place of encounter. It's where two lovers would meet. And it's this beautiful picture that we often missed, that Garden of Eden can be enjoyed and can be experienced even here on earth if we are willing to enter into the spot, if we're willing to enter into Sabbath, into the presence of God. Here's my question for you today. How do you value the presence of God? Is it rest to you, or have you been running away from that rest? And if you have, can I tell you this? You're going to continue to run, and you're going to continue to be exhausted until you come into a place where you can admit that, God, you are all I need. And you don't know what you need until you're there. And so I want to encourage all of you today, would you spend time in the presence of God? And would you find rest? Would you make today the Sabbath day? Because the Sabbath day, you don't have to wait for a specific day. It can be the time that you enter into intimacy, into the presence of God.